Boom. All right, what's going on, you guys? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to give you guys my top 3 personal favorite trades right now, which is March 18th at the time of recording. So we are just going to get straight into this one, guys. Let's quickly go over the 3 names we're going to be discussing today. I'll give you guys a short summary of why I'm personally bullish on these plays from a fundamental perspective. And then, of course, we'll dive into the charts. We'll hit TradingView, talk technicals, price action, and price targets. So first up is going to be the Mars mission, the Mars rover. You can see Mars in the rocket ship over here. That is ALYI, or alternate systems. If you guys have been following the channel recently, you would know that I'm very bullish on this stock, and I really do think this thing is a sleeping giant right now that's just waiting to pop off. So ALYI, keep in mind right now, you guys always do your own DD on all these companies. Just because I think they're cool doesn't mean that they are, but I do obviously personally see a lot of potential in these, and I do actually have solo analysis videos on all 3 of these companies if you want to get a better idea of what they do, more in-depth from a fundamental perspective, like what the company actually does, of course, because that's very, very important if you want to make an investment. Okay, so again, check those out if you want, but to summarize it quickly, ALYI is trying to be the Harley-Davidson of EVs. They want to make electric bikes, electric motorcycles. They actually have a very cool motorcycle called the Revolt that they're actually dropping some allegedly very, very promising news on tomorrow after I record this on March 19th, Friday. So I'm looking forward to that. You guys, if you're involved in the ALYI, definitely keep an eye out for that article and that news release. But very cool looking bike called the Revolt, and they want to target sub-Saharan Africa, third world countries, developing countries, like countries that are going to be next up 10, 20, 50 years from now, with those bikes, because 2-wheeled vehicles are actually much more prominent than you would expect across the world if you're fortunate to live in a place like the United States. So that was very cool to learn. And again, the mission is so amazing, you guys. Targeting, again, emerging markets. That's a better word for it. Not third world countries, but emerging markets like Africa, like India, etc., with these electric bikes. Obviously, I mean, which is where the world's trending is going to be all electric. So very bullish fundamentally there, very cool, and it obviously has a $10 million market cap, which I always say this, you guys, but it's true. This thing would have to 100x from here to be a $1 billion market cap, and if they can't properly execute on what they're talking about, then I think they could easily reach a $1 billion market cap. Like Nikola, they pretty much had as much as ALYI has right now. They just had a concept, no sales, no nothing, but they got to like a $20 billion valuation. So a $1 billion valuation is still, in the grand scheme of the financial markets, very, very small. And again, if ALYI does continue to execute on what they're saying they will, then I think they could easily attain that 100x $1 billion valuation. Okay, which of course would take us to about a $10 share price. We're currently at only 8 cents. So very, very exciting potential there. Next up is going to be the 2 blockchain plays that I've been talking about lately. So you guys know we talk a lot around here about Riot Blockchain, Marathon Digital Holdings, Riot Mar, the Bitcoin miners. And I have been saying lately that I do think capital will start to flow out of the Bitcoin miners that have been seeing so much love into the more blockchain technology focused plays that are XNET and ZKIN. So XNET is Jinlei. Both of these are Chinese companies, but they're both involved, again, in the more tech side, the cloud side, the app side of blockchain technology and coins and whatnot. ZKIN actually has a very cool like exchange ICO coming, and there's a lot of hype around their ICO and that new exchange, their new token and whatnot. So both of these very exciting plays. Again, you guys go dive into them for yourself, do your own research, because right now we're primarily just going to be talking technicals, and I'll talk to you guys about short term where I think the 3 of these plays could go. Okay, so price target, again, kicking it off with ALYI, the Mars rover. I think it's very likely that very soon, if this happens tomorrow, that'd be very promising. Again, a lot of the crypto market was in the red today, so let's quickly scroll down. You can see Mar, right, currency works right there, Canaan, a lot of red, which is another reason that XNET and ZKIN are very appealing to me right now. They outperform significantly the entirety of the sector today, and unfortunately, Bitcoin isn't looking too hot right now. We'll see where that goes, but I do remain bullish on the sector as a whole, but I remain the most bullish on XNET and ZKIN personally, just because, again, I do feel like capital will start to flow into those sectors of the market. But ALYI, because I do consider it somewhat, it's like a marriage of the EV and crypto sector. I do consider it a crypto play. So it is very reassuring, especially because EVs and cryptos were down today, like risk on assets, that ALYI was still seeing green. So very promising there. Like most of the market was actually red today. So it's very, very promising to see, again, this objectively speculative risky play do well and be in the green today, and that makes me think that it will withstand some of this volatility and then appreciate in value when everything else does as well. Okay, that only makes sense to me. So anyway, let's focus on these three. Kind of going off on a tangent there, apologize for that. Anyway, ALYI short-term price target. If this happens tomorrow, I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow, but if this does play out, if it tests the line of resistance on the short-term uptrend that's currently on, again, high, low, higher, low, I think we could easily make a higher high if we hit it by the end of the day tomorrow. That would take us to over an 11-cent ALYI, which again, from considering we're at like 8.5 cents now, 11 cents, as far as a percentage gain is concerned, that's very, very impressive. But of course, we do have to focus on the longer term as well. After that, let's get rid of these guys. Now, that was just for the intro. Again, the Mars rover that is ALYI. Shadow Waves film, it's an inside joke. I think it's very likely that if we do break above this is a very significant trend line right here, which I definitely need to explain. So this has acted for ALYI as a very significant line of both support and resistance over the course of this crazy rally. Keep in mind, you guys, ALYI has been an absolute roller coaster. On February 9th, ALYI reached 20 cents. We started talking about it way back here at 2 cents. It's crazy how far it's come. And I believe, again, if you guys have been around, you guys would know the good old two-wave theory, First wave up. This is just how hype cycles work, how parabolic FOMO markets work. First wave up, you see that it definitely gets bubbly. This is very bubbly looking to me. You see the bubble pop, you see it capitulate, which just goes sideways. You see it start to gain some strength again, and that's where the second wave comes in, the second big wave. So ALYI short term, I do think this line will come into play here, primarily this one. Say if we can hit this one by the end of the month on this kind of like after the double bottom, this bounce right here, bottom, double bottomed out. Usually that's a bullish sign. If we can hit this target by the end of the month, I think it's more likely this comes into play the short term. So just say by March 24th or something, like a week from now, that could take us all the way up to 24 cents, new all-time high, yeah, for ALYI, past 20 cents obviously just over a month ago. So that would be very exciting. Obviously get more eyes on ALYI, get more attention and more exposure. And again, you guys, with a company like this, exposure is very, very important because the market cap is so small and it takes less capital inflow to appreciate the individual share price. Okay, again, just because the market cap is so small. If the news tomorrow is really good and it makes like some even like midstream media or something, like if enough eyes are on this play, then this thing can go absolutely ballistic. And that's, again, you guys, I don't know if it'll take 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, or if it'll go to zero. I think this thing could easily hit $10 at some point in time and achieve that $1 billion market cap. But after this is broken, after these shorter term time frames are broken, I think it's very likely that we could come up to test the third wave, or the second wave, I'm sorry. So I guess this is that's more of a ripple. So that's like a wake right there. This is the wave. Second wave would come up to test the overall line of resistance. Conservative price target is going to be about 58 cents if we hit it by the end of the month, March 31st. And then not conservative, but I think this is very likely, especially if we break above like the 60-cent region. I think we could definitely come up to like 65, 66 cents to test the overall line of resistance on the greater uptrend. Now, if we break above that, that's when we're actually going to Mars. Mars is going to be way up here. Mars is actually $10, but I keep it here for the joke that I probably will make every time. Let's get that more right there. But again, you guys, I'm very excited to see where this goes just because the market cap is so small. The vision is so amazing in my eyes. Also want to make it clear, you guys, I'm super stoked on this trade. That said, I've zero direct affiliation with this company. I do hold shares. I got a fat bag of ALYI for full transparency. But again, I just want to share it with you guys because I think it's a crazy asymmetric potential driven trade. So asymmetric potential, obviously asymmetric risk is when the downside risk is significantly outweighed by the upside potential. And that's like, obviously, you guys, this thing could go further down, but I think the upside potential for my risk tolerance as a trader significantly outweighs the potential downside risk. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. Again, you guys, $1, $10, $100, who knows where this thing could go over the future. Again, granted, they execute on their plans, and once again, I'm keeping a very, very close eye on that press release tomorrow because I do know that it revolves around the Revolve bike itself. So again, you guys, if you're interested in this, keep an eye out on that. Let's see what progress they're making, okay? So that said, let's move on to the blockchain beauties that are ALYI and ZKIN. So because Bitcoin, let's take a look at Bitcoin quick. Bitcoin is at like 57,000. That does not feel good to see, you guys. But I do still think Bitcoin is going to be in an uptrend. Like the fundamentals around this sector are just so hot. This is still obviously in a verified bull run, and I still think it's early. So that said, I do think once again, because I think capital will begin to flow out of more hyped up, more parts of the crypto sector that are seeing love. I think capital will flow just into different parts of the sector because people are still going to want to invest in crypto blockchain focused plays, but capital is just going to flow around the sector. I've seen this happen over and over again in all the hype sectors. Okay, so short term for XNET, I think it's very likely. So if this plays out by tomorrow, because crypto isn't looking too hot right now, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't. But I do think that at some point next week, XNET will come up to test the short term line of resistance. Again, we are on the hourly right now. The short term line of resistance here on this shorter term, the line of resistance on the shorter term uptrend. There we go, and that would bring us to, say we hit it, let's just say mid next week, around March 23rd. If we hit this trend line right here, the line of resistance again on the shorter term uptrend, that would take us up to about $12.50. So very exciting there. But I think longer term, it's very light, not even longer term, like short to medium term. So I think by the end of the month, easily, ALYI could come up. So April 1st, right there, easy price target. I'll just do March 31st because that's where actually these two intersect. I don't know if that's going to play out, but it's just nice, nice to see intersections of trend lines on both short and long term time frames. So these would intersect on March 30th. If that happens, again, ALYI, this is the ripple, or sorry, XNET similar to ALYI, the ripple. You get that first wave, bubble pops, capitulation. Second wave, I think we could see, again, I think $15+ is very, very likely. This purple line is here because that was right below 14 bucks, was a pretty significant line of resistance back in 2017. Another very important thing to keep in mind with XNET is that like Riot and Mara are way in their all-time high territory, okay? Like doubling their all-time highs, their previous all-time highs back in 2017. Very different companies, I know, but XNET's high back in 2017 during the crypto market of 2017, XNET's high was $25. So if Bitcoin is pushing like $80,000, like I see, especially if we get to that like six-figure Bitcoin that I'm calling for by over the course of the next month or so, I think that it's very likely we could easily see XNET break to new all-time highs, especially because we're seeing volume come back. We're getting eyes on this stock. XNET has a fairly small market cap at just $600 million. So again, does not take much capital inflow to appreciate the share price of these stocks. ZKIN is very similar. And I will say now, I said this in the newsletter this morning, so shout out to the newsletter. Actually, right now, you guys, I fully just got straight into it. Please, I will ask you, before we continue, to please give the video a like if you do go on to gain value from it today. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this. Follow these revolutionary, very exciting. Again, you guys, I'm a pretty risk-on trader. I have a high risk appetite, and that's not for everybody. But just to give you guys a heads up as to my trading style, I'm looking for asymmetric potential, again, where the upside potential significantly outweighs the downside risk, and I'm looking for like multiples of my money. I'm not looking for 10, 20, 50, like 50, even 50%. I'm looking to like 2, 5, 10, 100x my money, okay? So again, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, want to follow more content like this, and of course check out my complete portfolio daily newsletter. First link down in the description. It's $15 a month. If you want a complete breakdown of my entire portfolio that I do update every single trading day during market hours, all call options, put options, stock positions, cryptocurrency positions, and with every update, I do send out an email newsletter explaining my thoughts, which is what reminded me again, because I did say in the newsletter this morning that XNET and ZKIN are reminding me of the new Riot and Mara, because again, Riot and Mara, the prince and princess, the two peas in a pod, do tend to play catch up with each other, do tend to play catch up with each other, do really stick together in terms of price action, and I'm seeing the same exact thing play out with ZKIN and XNET, pretty much the exact same price, and that's why I really like these as well too, because we're going to be able to play catch up in the future, because they're probably going to act very similarly to Riot and Mara, so keep that in mind. Topside price target for XNET by the end of this month is going to be about $16. So we'll just call that there. Very exciting times, you guys, for this company. Same for ZKIN. So XNET, of course, I do have call options on XNET. ZKIN, you can't trade calls, at least on Robinhood, but as far as the stock position is concerned, this is doing very well for me, and you're seeing a lot of volume here, which is really nice as well. So ZKIN, I think it's very, very likely that short-term ZKIN is going to come up to test this pretty strong trend line right here. This is a little more conservative, so I'm safe doing that. I feel comfortable doing that. ZKIN is in this nice shorter-term ascending channel right here. So nice kind of megaphone-like ascending channel, not super perpendicular, but I do like those because the upside potential is that much greater. So say March 23rd, let's extend this a little bit, just because again, tomorrow might be a little rough, especially because it is March 19th. It is a triple witching where many futures expire, and that does cause increased volatility in whichever direction the stock is currently going. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there, but I do remain bullish on the entire crypto sector as a whole, and of course these blockchain focused plays, especially these blockchain technology focused plays. So say mid next week, March 23rd, we test the top line of resistance on the shorter term uptrend. That would take us to about $12.70 per ZKIN, which from here is a very, very exciting price action, you guys. again, considering we're at 870 cents, you're looking at like a 40% increase in price if we get close to $13. So I think that's very likely. That would come exactly if we hit it 23rd, exactly to test the alt of the previous high back in late February for ZKIN. And ZKIN is like the epitome of a two wave. So you see the first wave. Maybe this is just the ripple, you guys. It's definitely not, but this is like the ripple right here. Boom, first wave, bubble pops, capitulation, and we're seeing this one really gain some steam. So longer term, or like end of the month talking, so March 31st right here, I would not be surprised if ZKIN, that actually looks really nice too. So look at that. Just like XNET. So ZKIN and XNET have two peas in a pod. Like, I'm very convinced of that they will act very similarly. And also actually ZKIN using this does have a slightly higher price target, so maybe ZKIN is the right and XNET's tomorrow. We'll see. Regardless, ZKIN price target by April 1st is going to be $18, conservative 17, you guys, just because you guys know I like to keep it easy. Actually, this is conservative considering a lot of traders are going to be looking at it like that. So maybe this comes into play. If ZKIN breaks 18 bucks, I think it's very likely that this does come into play, and we could easily hit $20+ if all goes very accordingly. Okay, so keep that in mind, you guys. Again, this is just my opinion. Always know my money is where my mouth is. I'm heavily invested right now in all three of these companies, but as always, you guys, make your own decisions, do your own due diligence, figure out if these are right for you, because they're definitely not right for everybody. That is a fact. So I appreciate you guys watching. Please let me know in the comments down below what your favorite play that we just covered is, why you like the play, and what your price targets are personally. So I'll catch you in the comments downstairs. Always love talking shop with you guys. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.